BaconBit.
Wow, that was scary.
Hi, everyone. It's time for a BaconBit.
It is.
We've done a lot of these lately.
Have we?
I'm really proud of us.
Well, it's movie season.
Oh, yeah. It is the summer season, isn't it?
Season.
Hey, guys. Thanks for being my friends and coming to movies with me.
Thank you for being a friend.
Otherwise, this would be me doing a BaconBit, a video by myself with 6 viewers. So thank you for joining me and allowing us to do this.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I didn't see it.
What?
Thanks, Jake, for coming to the movie with
Hey,
me.
you're welcome.
I
Joel,
wasn't invited.
where were you at?
I was home with my wife and children.
He probably could have got 2
I said, hey, do you want to spend some quality time tonight? And he said, yes, I will be.
with my children.
With the people that matter.
No, it was actually funny. It was funny because
that sounds like Joel.
Kent said something where we were at work and he said something about, yeah, and Jake and I went to the movie last night. And I went, what movie? What are you talking about? Like,
There's a movie?
What's happening this week? And then he was like, Godzilla. And I'm like, oh, that's right.
Yes.
Godzilla King of Monsters came out. And I told Kent my interest was lukewarm at best.
Not even that. At the beginning of the year when we did the year preview, this was either in your 5 you wanted to bomb or in your honorable mentions for the bombing ones.
No, one.
Yeah, you really didn't care for this
You
one at
wanted
all.
it to bomb? I don't
No,
remember.
I remember.
That's rude, Joel.
I was underwhelmed
Messed
by
up,
the
man.
trailer. I was underwhelmed by the trailer is what it came
There
to.
wasn't enough monsters in there for you, was the trouble.
More 11, less monsters.
Okay, we'll get there. So Jake and I are going to review the movie.
Yes.
And we
Spoiler
will
free.
do first half spoiler free, second
Yes.
half spoiler full. And Joel, are you okay with that?
Joel, you
Yes.
want to ask us questions and pretend like you're interested?
Yes.
Awesome.
So, I hear Godzilla is a large monster. How large do you find him to be?
This is quite large, Joel. That was an awkward start.
Is his size proportional at all times, or does he adjust in size depending on what the movie demands?
At times, it seemed like he was eating a few too many
Yeah.
chicken nuggets.
What?
Or maybe buildings. Because there were times where, Godzilla,
pudgy? Little
he's,
pudgy
he's a
Godzilla?
little, he's the pudgiest Godzilla, let's be honest.
Oh, are you fat shaming?
I kind of am, honestly.
No, dude loves donuts. this guy is.
There are
This
times
Godzilla
where you're
is
like
obese.
You're like, don't mess with that one, and then you see the side profile, like it's like a tagged photo of Godzilla, but then you're like, oh,
But time out.
His BMI is like a red line.
Wasn't he lean, mean Godzilla in the previous movie?
no, he was
No,
still
no,
quite large.
he was pretty big.
In
Or am I
fact,
thinking of 98?
98, he was the Velociraptor.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
No, he seriously looks like the guy who used to be at the gym a lot and now is just really, really fat.
let himself go?
He's the one that
Yeah.
took the creatine and forgot to go to the
Yeah.
gym.
I gotta Google a picture of this dude.
Yeah. Wow, we are
Look at
terrible.
This is what we're talking about. Fat shaming
Body
Godzilla.
shaming.
He's a great swimmer, though.
Joel's looking at a picture. What do you
He's
say?
got some thunder thighs.
Under lizard thighs.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. We'd like to apologize to everyone. Send your hate mail to us, all 3 of us, right now. So let's talk about Godzilla. I do want to give a
Godzilla.
quick summary.
Please do.
Let's try to come up with this
Good luck
story.
with that.
Yeah, okay. So there's a human element to the story, and
this
obviously
is a sequel to the
this
2000.
is a direct
14.
sequel 5 years later.
Wow.
And so we even see the end of the movie at the beginning of this one.
The end of the last movie.
Yeah, where San
Francisco.
Francisco was destroyed, and it personally affects a family with Vera Farmiga, Kyle Chandler, and Millie Bobby Brown.
Okay.
They are in a family. Years go by, stress takes place, a little bit of personal tragedy, and they're all kind of doing their own thing. And there's a way for bad people to awaken the titans that have been dormant in Earth for thousands of years. And
Thousands? Wasn't Kong already on Kong Skull Island?
Kong is the anomaly of this movie. They talk about him a lot, but he is kind of distant from all the dinosaurs that they mention.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so
At the end of Kong Skull Island, they make this reference to other monsters
yes,
that are out
so
there.
Monarch is the company. It's outside of the government, but the government wants heavy involvement here. Monarch has been studying these creatures for probably 100 years.
And Skull Island came out when?
That came out 2 years ago, maybe 3.
So Kong Skull Island is like the bridge between Last Godzilla and this Godzilla.
Yeah, which is weird though, because Kong Skull Island, being a Vietnam movie, had
place
Tom
in the
Hiddleston
70s.
and Brie
Yeah.
Larson, and those characters are
It's
nowhere
a
to be
shared
seen.
universe,
it takes
but it's
a while
distant.
for the ape to swim.
I guess 40 years.
Yeah.
No-
He's very short, small strokes.
So much like the title implies, there will be monsters, and there will need to be a king at some point.
Yeah.
And they're very fierce.
Which is
and-
the whole premise of the movies.
Yeah.
Who's king?
So, Jake, do you want me to start on this one?
Yeah, I started last time, I think.
Okay. So this movie starts off. Okay, let me give you my criticisms for Godzilla 2014.
Okay.
They teased
Wow, we're
in-
reviewing that movie before Bacon
A
Cell
little
began?
bit, yeah. So that movie teased with great trailers, Walter White. It teased Bryan Cranston.
I like how you say Walter White.
And yeah.
I didn't even blink, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, yeah.
And
that's
so
not his name.
already that movie had gravitas. It was like, oh, I really like this guy as an actor, and it's a Godzilla movie. Well, Bryan Cranston isn't in the movie very much, I'll just say. And neither is Godzilla. It's an Aaron Taylor Johnson movie.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing, but there's beauty to it. But anytime
Elizabeth Taylor, or Elizabeth
Olsen
too.
Olsen, yeah.
Anytime Elizabeth Taylor plays Godzilla.
Well, Julie Andrews, Aquaman.
She was the
She's a
giant character in
kaiju.
Aquaman, that's true.
And so that movie pulled its punches. Anytime you thought there was going to be this incredible action scene, it pulled the punch because it saved it for the last 15 minutes. And then it was glorious. And then it was just fun to watch.
Glorious.
Yeah, I would say glorious.
Yeah, no, the closing scene is pretty intense.
I mean, the collateral damage that takes place when these monsters
Joel,
fight
did
each
you watch
other.
this on a small screen?
Yeah, on your phone?
I watched this actually on my iWatch. And
Let me see your iWatch right now.
it's right there.
Yeah, that's a pretty big screen. Considering
it didn't resize though, so I had to just keep scrolling around to see different parts of the film.
It's a panoramic view.
Oh dear.
And so this movie took that criticism and reverses it entirely. Granted, there's still a lot of human elements
so it's
here.
Pacific Rim.
It's Pacific Rim. They said,
More so.
hey, we're going to show all the action that you didn't get to see the first time around. And they deliver. They absolutely deliver in the action here. And it made me gleeful. We saw this in IMAX, and I think this is the only way, if you decide to see
Yes,
this.
I completely agree.
It is the only way to see it. Because if you see a normal screen, you're going to go, But if it knocks your socks off with sounds, there were a few times where it wasn't even a scary moment, but it's so loud, I got a little bit scared. I was like, oh, geez, that's nuts.
Like the Godzilla roar thing, whatever that is.
Right, if you can feel
It's a good
the
sound.
roar, you're like, okay, this is cool. The human story I was fine with it, and I kind of got what they were doing. It felt very old school. It felt very like 1970s, 1980s as far as camp, but it wasn't funny. So they're not really in on the joke. Yeah. And then the more it went on, the more I was like, please stop talking. There's a lot of really bad performances here. Bradley Whitford.
Who's he?
He's in Cabin in the Woods. Merman. He's also in West Wing.
Yeah.
I wanted to strangle him. All he is there is to deliver one-liners. Vera Farmiga plays a troubled woman. It's probably
like
one of
Vera
her. I really
Farmiga.
like her. One of her weakest roles in a long time. Kyle Chandler. He's an emotional core of any
Coach.
movie he's in.
Kyle Chandler.
He's
Coach
in
from
Friday
Friday
Night
Night
Lights.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and Millie Bobby Brown does a fine
Our
job.
main dude. I forgot that was his name.
Yeah, and so
she sings My Prerogative.
exactly. So in just like any monster movie, you don't care about the humans, but when there's fighting, that's what you want to see. And this movie did deliver it. I walked out of this movie going, not really that good. But I thought more and more about the action, as silly as it is. I thought to myself, this is a monster movie, and as much as I didn't care for the movie, man, that delivered on being a monster movie. And so I'm going to give it a positive C+.
What'd you give Endgame again?
B-.
B-.
Okay.
It's basically equal.
Yeah, basically the same thing.
I gave that a negative B-. This is a positive C+.
Ken, I always love how your point of view seems to shift from in the movie to after the movie. You're always like,
happens.
You're like, I hated it, but then I got kicked in the head by a mule, and suddenly I liked it.
I mean, that's kind of it. I thought about I'm being a little harsh on this movie because it's a Godzilla movie. I haven't honestly seen one Godzilla movie I've liked.
I've never been wowed by a Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
And I've seen a number.
I mean, this is no King Kong. King Kong has had great films in his past. Whereas Godzilla, you really?
Peter Jackson?
1933, the Peter Jackson one?
Wait.
Both of those.
Whoa, you guys really like the Peter Jackson
Absolutely.
King Kong?
Yeah.
Like, enjoy it? Legitimately enjoy it?
Yes.
You like Jack Black saying, "'Twas beauty killed the beast"?
Yes.
Yep.
No.
It's a good movie. It's cinema.
It really is cinema.
No. Silent King Kong? That's cinema. Because that was showing people things they'd never seen before.
I thought that was a beautiful movie. and a
Giant
beautiful love
bug
story.
monsters.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, it's really enjoyable.
Bacon Cell approved?
Yeah, Bacon Cell approved. Thank you, Jake. All right, Jake, what'd you think?
Godzilla roar.
All right. So, positive C+ was
Yes.
yours, right? Yeah. Okay. Basically, Kent's right on a lot of these parts because there was a lot of monsters. Like right as Kent and I were going in, I said, I go, there's something like 20 monsters in this. And he goes, you're joking, right? And I go, no, I saw it in the trailer. Like there's legitimately like 20 monsters. And
Which feels too soon. It feels like they're trying to marvelize it.
and so he's like, oh no. And so
It's calling DCing it when you throw everyone in a movie together too
well,
soon.
it's called Infinity War because DC had like 5.
DC threw Justice League together. Marvel had 10 years
After
to build
5
theirs.
movies, like Avengers.
They
Go on.
jumped the gun.
Same amount of movies. This is the third.
okay, fellas. All right. So no, and then I was also like, okay, I don't know how they're going to manage that, but
Yeah.
they only focused on a couple,
On
which made it manageable. And yes, there were some others in the background, but they weren't a main aspect of the story. So here's basically how the movie plays. The technical aspect is very strong. There's some really cool stuff visually. Like and again, like Ken said, let me reiterate: if you're going to watch this movie, if you're going to pay for it, go to an IMAX viewing. Do not watch it. Don't even. You might not even bother if you're watching it at home unless you have a
unless
really
you have
good.
great
you guys
home
know
studio.
Clearplay's going to ask me to review this one when it comes out.
Well, I hope you
On
have
a big TV.
I hope you have surround sound and a big projector because
I have surround sound on my iWatch.
You have to keep moving around the room.
Speakers.
He has Bluetooth little earbuds he has to put in.
oh my gosh, yeah, it's not going to play very well at home because the story falls apart. It's riddled with plot holes, which ultimately you forgive it for because it's a Godzilla movie. But between the plot holes and a lot of the illogical things that are happening, especially with communication and relationships, it never really picks up and soars because the emotional element is lacking the whole time. And technically, it is a visual feast even at times.
Yes.
And the fighting is, I mean, it's
Actually memorable.
it is kind of memorable at times. Yeah.
Differentiated from any other Godzilla movie.
But
fight?
here's the thing though, right? Is like, yeah, visually it's very cool, but even when it excels in the visual end, if you don't have the emotional attachment to what's going on, it's never going to have the same impact.
Which is why the human element fails.
Which is why it fails.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is what brings it down.
However, I do feel, sorry to jump in here, the scope feels right because they keep putting the humans
I
in the
prefer
middle of the
Listerine
action.
myself.
Oh, Listerine
Yeah.
or alcohol. I knew it. But they put the characters in the midst of the action, which feels like a cop-out. It feels like they're cheating, but it still gives you a geography of how the action is taking place.
Yeah. No, actually, there's some of the maneuvering, I would say, like the plot necessities work. Some of them are obviously a little too forced. But yeah, technically it excels. So if you're into visual effects, go watch it. If you want a real story, this is not going to be it.
No.
Guys, this sounds exactly like Pacific Rim.
See,
Where you're not in it for the story. You're in there for robots fighting giant monsters.
I said this in the Guilty Pleasure show last year. I love Pacific Rim. I truly do.
I despised it.
I don't know how because that movie.
I
to me
love
is
the action
candy.
scenes,
I
but
just
oh man,
can eat it
I could
up.
not take the drama they tried to do.
No, that's like the 10-year-old in me just is like, oh, this is awesome. Give me some popcorn.
Yeah.
You know, like look at that giant
do you
robot
think
punching a
younger
lizard.
Can't let you have popcorn at a screen.
No,
No, he gave me raisinets.
Oh, okay.
that's why you eat popcorn off the floor.
Because
Joel.
you won't let me have any.
And those weren't raisinets.
What's
we
the
were
other
in a
thing I
park.
would say?
Wait, so do you think what age range do you like? If you were 10,
Oh man,
would you be so into this movie?
I would be so into
But is it
this
too
movie if
intense
I
for
was 10?
10-year-olds?
Because they don't care about the plot or the story or anything
Yeah.
like that going on anyway. They probably don't follow those in regular movies. Who cares? They're just watching giant lizards bite each other.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
there's nothing else going on.
the extent.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, oh, that one's flying. Oh, look, that one has a really big wingspan.
And
you know?
it doesn't turn into a Michael Bay CGI mess when they fight. Can you tell what's going on?
I'll say this: there is a lot of clouds and gases in the sky that kind of shades.
So he's not just big; he's also gassy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, in many ways, in
yes,
this movie.
yeah.
But it obscures a lot of the action. I think so they could save a little bit of money there.
Okay.
It still looks cool, like on a poster, but sometimes you get lost. But
We
it's
call that Battle of Winterfelling.
yeah, there you go. But it's also the monsters are so unique and they have different like strikes or powers, elemental powers. You can tell what's
So
going
they're
on.
Pokemon.
It is
There
pretty
is
Japanese.
There's
yeah.
a 3-headed Pikachu.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
my band's name in college. 3-headed Pikachu.
Yeah,
So-
so I'd say 8-year-old to 13,
It's
14-year-old.
not too intense then for kids.
No.
Nah.
What's the content level like?
There is a F word said by Ice Cube Jr.
There is actually, and Millie Bobby Brown, she curses a little bit, and she's as a teenager, you know.
How is she non-11ish? Like when Millie Bobby Brown is not 11 from Stranger Things.
let me talk about that for a second because when it
Can you
ended,
do that here and spoiler free? Or do you
Yes.
want to spoiler for?
I think
Okay,
so.
go for it.
Yeah. First of all, and Kent and I already know we'll agree on this, is her acting in Stranger Things doesn't require much. Like, she kind of shows up, she looks intense, and then her
she's
nose
brooding.
bleeds. And so I never thought much of her acting. Like, who cares? She's this little. I saw her in an interview, and she's British, and I like what she did with her accent because it didn't really catch my ear. But watching her in this, she was pretty much the only actress who showed up to work.
Yeah, it's true.
It's weird. Like, she's in there and she's in it in every scene. You can see she's like giving it 100%, and everyone else is like, we know what this is.
Yeah, we know it's a monster movie.
Is this her big break?
I think she already had it.
Well, what I mean is, like,
she's already had it.
Is this her break out of that character? So I mean, is Stranger Things going to be her only hit, or is she showing range?
They'll see her in this and be like, okay, she's got some acting chops.
And they've already finished Godzilla versus Kong, which is coming out next year. Spoiler alert. And she'll be in that one as well.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if she'll be in any like teen comedies. Maybe when she decides to get away from the bigger movies, maybe she'll be in a coming of age movie. She's still quite young, so she has plenty of time to advance as an actress.
Yeah.
True.
Same
for a Millie Bobby Brown show.
Yeah, that's not happening. C- minus is what I'm giving this.
So below average.
Slightly.
Lower than
You do realize this is a monster movie.
Story means so much to me, though.
Obviously.
I need the emotional satisfaction that comes. I need the payoff. There needs to be an emotional payoff, and that never came. What there was giant monsters that were attacking each other, and that was cool. Yeah, but I need the emotional payoff for it to be beyond that.
Okay,
so C minus.
All
right, Joel, time for spoilers.
Yes, let's do spoilers.
Although I don't think we'll have a whole lot to say, will we?
Hold on, what's the Puff Daddy song from the 1980s?
My head is like a shark fin. No, wait, that's
deepest spoilers. Deep Blue Sea.
Oh no, the stupid.
I had that
the
soundtrack.
1998 stupid one had like Cashmere.
Yeah,
that was so ridiculous.
Yeah, that soundtrack sold really well. Though.
We could do Green Bay. What's that Green?
Spoilers.
Insomniac. How does that go? That's on that soundtrack.
Brain Stew.
Damn
it. Spoilers.
Damn it.
Spoilers.
We spent way more time on that than our spoiler-free section. All right, so spoilers.
Here we are 15 minutes in, guys.
There is more collateral damage in this movie than any movie I've ever seen.
Absurd, insane
like
amounts
they're just
of
knocking out buildings over left and right.
Joel, they destroy the world. I mean,
it's no joke.
There is nothing left, man. It is kaiju, not kaiju. What are they?
Well, they are kaiju. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, they are obliterating everything all over the map. And
wait, so they do travel to more than one location?
Yes,
because there's 17,
which is where the plot holes come in for me. Because I started to notice like
wait, just coastal cities, or are we talking like is Salt Lake City okay?
Salt Lake City is okay.
I think, well, there was one in Wyoming.
Actually, there is a giant beehive in Salt Lake City that comes up from under the ground.
No, there isn't.
Yeah, I know. Wouldn't that be cute, though?
It is the beehive state.
So what it is there is a chase. It is eco-terrorists that are trying to awaken, and the message is dumb, but they're trying to awaken these titans so that the world will be destroyed, and zero population is the answer, my friends. The world can be restored once again.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so they want everyone to die, or
they're
at least
Thanosing it.
Yeah, it's straight up Thanos story.
It is.
And so it is the good guys in a giant helicarrier chasing the bad guys who are already like one step ahead. And they have this sonar box that they call the Orca, that if you turn on this noise, you become the alpha, and these titans follow what you say, or they'll attack someone based on what you want them to.
Or they just try to find it so they can be the alpha.
Yeah,
they're ripping off How to Train Your Dragon 2 then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But there is a new titan that no one really predicted, and that is Ghidorah. And Ghidorah is the three-headed dragon you've seen on the poster.
Yeah, I got the poster up here.
And Ghidorah is
cool
freaking cool. Like it is kind of like a classic looking Japanese dragon, like as far as looks and how its
looks
facial
like a
structure
Hydra.
goes.
It's a cool monster.
And it's cool, and it's very threatening. As far as like all the other monsters, in fact, much like I said, this feels like they're rushing it, because Ghidorah feels like an enemy that you could have saved till Godzilla 3 instead of Godzilla 2.
Think of the branding you could have done with the 3 heads and say Godzilla and then 3
exactly.
heads.
Yeah.
Because they have Rodan in this movie. And keep in mind, these movies that came out generally the 60s, where the man in suit Godzilla and went on for decades.
Late 50s or
Mothra
60s.
had its own series. Rodan
really?
got its own movies. Godzilla's son got its own series. And so they stretched this out where they said, hey, here are 4 main monsters.
1954 was Godzilla's first appearance in Godzilla.
Wow.
And I've seen that one.
Oh, you have seen that one. It's still not very good.
No.
So what they're doing is they're chasing the bad guys around who are trying to awaken these monsters, but the geography is like, boom. It's like they just survived something really harrowing, and they're like, oh, all of a sudden I'm in China.
Yeah. Now we're across the world. Oh,
Yeah.
now we're in Mexico.
I'm in Mexico
Now we're in
now.
Antarctica.
And it's
No
like
problem.
the next scene, and it doesn't make any sense. You're like, okay, I guess you just need to get there. It's that kind of movie.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I feel like in Jake...
35 films.
Wow.
That's a lot.
35 Godzilla films, 3 of which produced by Hollywood.
So now we have to watch all of them. Yeah, no. Jake, have you seen the old Godzilla movies?
As a child, as a like a teenager, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, let's check these out. Then I got bored when they started. And
So here's the
that was it.
boring part. And Joel, you've seen like the first one at least.
yeah, I've seen, I don't know, maybe 5.
What they do is they do show the monster action, but then they always go to an office or a military base or a big craft where the humans talk and look out the window and plan their attack.
Yeah.
That's this movie. This movie actually feels kind of reverential, as far as like what they're doing, because humans really are talking in the ship and then chasing the monsters, and then it's monster battles.
The thing about Godzilla mythology that many people don't understand, hipster glasses, is that Godzilla is not a monster; he's a protector, and that's one of the
Yes.
reasons the Japanese audiences were kind of mad at the 1998.
They hit on this a lot.
Yeah, the 1998 version, he was just a monster. Well, Chi, apparently. Spoiler alert for 1998 Godzilla.
What? I need to watch that one again. Actually, kind of wanted to watch it after I saw this.
But they've kind of messed it up because it was just a monster that was destroying the city instead of like their protector who would kill other monsters.
Yes.
So they stay true to that. Then is what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they do. In fact, that's like the whole
This
philosophy.
is a let them fight and let them fight all over our cities.
Let them fight.
Yeah, yeah.
It looks like there's a sky beam in this. Is there a sky beam in this?
The only sky beam is
Yep.
Godzilla's breath. Yep. And that's true.
Okay.
That's accurate.
That's accurate. Yeah.
All right.
So, I mean, but if I have to hear one more movie where they're like, this is happening because look what we've done to the earth. Pollution, poverty, war. That's why this is happening. And they always do like little cutscenes.
You deserve this.
And I'm like,
But-
oh my gosh, I've seen that
So-
in like
so giant
56
lizards are going to
movies.
But here's
destroy.
the thing, Jacob, is the whole point of Godzilla. It came out after the bombing of
Yes.
Hiroshima, and it was all about radiation and how
Yeah.
that was what caused this. And the horror movies in general tend to be driven by the current fears of the time, whether that be radiation or viruses or things like
Yeah.
that. And that looks like that's the current fear right now is more inconvenient truth. And so
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's like, let's make that our problem.
Well, I
But
do feel like-
totally agree with you.
it's lame, but the movie does follow its own rules as far as like the nuclear devices that these monsters feed on.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like
they
based
do
on
follow that rule. Yeah.
you know, because they've been hidden under the earth waiting for a time to reawaken, and then they were forced
With
to
Megatron?
wake up. Yes. With the hypercube. Is that a thing? The Matrix?
The Allspark.
The Allspark. Johnny Mnemonic.
You know,
Whatever.
so that we don't talk about Godzilla for too long, let's jump to the end a little bit. How did you like the radiation bomb? Well, Joel, spoilers for you now, right?
Spoil away.
So Godzilla is in a fight with what's its name, Kent?
Ghidorah.
Ghidorah, and gets the crap beat out of his fat lizard butt, and
Wait, literally?
he sinks to the.
Actually, this is a fair amount of weight. Boston is destroyed. No one will live there again.
You do not. Anyway, sinks to the bottom of the ocean. They think he's dead. It turns out he basically crawls into this hollow earth tunnel where there's this radiation source that heals him. They figure that out, and they're like, oh no, Ghidorah is going to kill everything. And because Ghidorah is killing everything. And so they take a nuke down there to revive him, right?
They nuke Godzilla to revive him.
Yes.
Because he was created by nuclear energy.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
No,
they
that's
take
what I'm saying. It follows its own rules.
No, it totally does. It becomes a real plot point, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, they do that. They take him down there. They
that
do
was probably
that.
the one emotional moment of the whole movie.
Yeah, when
And it was false emotions.
You got
but
emotional?
still.
You got emotional?
No. But there's a character who does this.
yeah.
Yes.
And anyway, so Godzilla comes back and he's like, "Okay, I'm ready to fight." And then they're like, "Looks like somebody's eating his vitamins or whatever it was. I can't remember."
Well, they do this whole thing where they're like 12 minutes till Godzilla goes atomic. And I'm like, okay, so he's going to get really strong. He's getting, once again, the crap kicked out of him.
Well, I thought he was just going to go like
Blow up.
Yeah, I thought he was just going to blow up. And that's what they kept saying. Godzilla's going to blow up. I'm like, like he's going to spray and splatter everywhere. Like, what does that mean? He's going to blow up?
He basically went Incredible Hulk, you know, but if Incredible Hulk gets bigger,
Yeah,
the
when he gets
angrier he
angry,
gets,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what happens to Godzilla. And then it kind of goes, poof, goes away.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah, which is fine. So basically,
it goes.
kind of actually.
We told you
like I
that's
said,
what
he's
happened.
gassy.
He's gassy. Yeah, we said that was part of it. So no, Ghidorah is basically beat him, right? But he's like 2 minutes away from going nuclear, and so they distract Ghidorah for a minute, and then that gives Godzilla enough time to turn nuclear.
Wait. How do they know? Okay, I'm confused. I thought they dropped the bomb on him to wake him up. So what's the countdown for?
Well, they counted. They said it worked too well, is what it was.
His core is warming up.
Yeah.
Oh,
his
so
core because of the nuke.
So they're tracking him, and they're like, "Oh, we're estimating when."
But this was actually all part of the movie. They were like they found his sound waves or whatever, and they could track his vitals, and they could do all this tracking on him now,
Okay.
right? And so then he turns into this giant red glowing radiation bomb.
It looks pretty cool though.
It does. So that's what I want to know.
It
Is
looks
like,
really
I
cool.
did see that.
so dude, here's what looked cool.
I saw an
right?
image of him.
It's-
He's like covered in fire.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's him. So he like takes a step, and then you see everything around him just melt. Like all the signs, the buildings, everything just evaporates around him, which is a cool effect. And then he gets to Ghidorah, who's been beating him up the whole time, and it's not even. He just steps on him, basically.
Yeah.
Really?
No, it's man. As far as visuals goes, that's why I can't hate it because that
was really
action
satisfying visually.
Is
everything
is a poster, and so as far as being a monster movie, and it did deliver on the action I didn't see in that first movie. I still can't hate it, even though man, I was cringing every time there was dialogue.
Even though I gave it a C-, like it's a positive C-.
It's like me giving
it.
it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like no, I got some enjoyment out of this, and I'm still getting it a C- because that's what it is, but. Because every time they spoke, it sucked.
They're definitely going for a global audience here, doing a multicultural casting.
Will it
in this
do well?
one.
Yeah.
Will it do well? Not as well as they hope. Honestly, I think it's kind of a gamble to do this monster universe, but internationally, this thing
Better
will
than
succeed.
2014's?
Yeah, I think so.
14, 15? What was
Yeah,
it?
2014.
The 14 had some artistic elements that this one lacked, I think. Like there was some breakthrough moments, but this one had the action for sure. Like this one had the
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want the action, Joel, check it
Also,
out.
I will say the very last scene totally nails it. I would say the way this movie ends is perfect for how this
You're not
movie
gonna spoil
needed
it?
to be. I mean, we're in spoilers,
You
right?
mean the
Yeah,
stinger
go for
or the
it.
last?
Godzilla wins and he growls as the alpha and monsters bow to him, and it goes. He's like,
Wait, monster? I thought he destroyed all the monsters.
No,
No,
he is
just-
the alpha
Yeah.
at this point.
Oh, okay.
So this is how to Train Your Dragon, and he's standing there up on this hill, and they're all bowing to him, and it's this like, holy crap, he is king of the monsters. Like that was awesome. People clapped a ton at the end.
Yeah.
And then of course it teases Godzilla versus Kong, just a little bit,
Okay.
which is happening next year. So Joel, I mean, you were right in your prediction of this one being like, I don't really care. But this is a movie that everyone's dad will want to watch just for these action scenes.
Joel, has our description made you want to see it more or less?
Well, okay. So the thing is, I like the sound of the fights, and I like the sound of the ending and the going nuclear. It all sounds kind of fun and
is fun.
dumb.
Yeah.
But I don't want to. I don't want to go pay to see it in IMAX. Like literally, I think I'm going to be watching it on my TV at home and enjoy it, but not as much as I maybe could have in IMAX.
I get that.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like paying for it, but
And I'm wondering if, like, with your kids, at what age they can
paying
watch
for
it.
it. And by paying for it, I mean going to Kent's screenings that he so graciously offered me.
We actually had a conversation today about this is not associated with the BaconBit, but it's like hard to get excited about movies because they're kind of a given that you'll see them anyways.
Yeah.
So the anticipation is like,
Which I felt bad about saying that because I do still love going to those screenings and enjoy going with you. But it's been a long time since I've been like really, really excited for a movie to the point where I'm like waiting in line. to buy
even
tickets.
Endgame, it's like we have to take work off. Oh,
We're spoiled rotten brats.
yeah. Anyway, so I would say, yeah, on average, this is a C movie,
Yeah.
and
Most
see it on
Godzilla
IMAX.
movies are.
Yeah.
They kind of are. There's no great ones. But this one satisfies the child in you, maybe.
Yeah,
So
I wish it was a
think
little
will.
more brainy, but that may have been at a sacrifice of the action, which delivered.
They really do. I mean, it would be a pretty easy combination. Get a director that knows how to handle big budgets, like a Christopher Nolan, right? And bring him in for something like this where it actually...
See, I actually pictured The Rock in this movie, and it would have been a little bit better because
It
they
would've.
needed some charisma.
They did need charisma. They needed charisma bad.
Well, he was too busy doing all the other jungle movies.
Yeah, every jungle movie this year.
Every jungle movie.
Anyways,
Okay.
thank you for listening. Let us know if you're going to go see this movie. I'm curious to see what you think, and
Yeah.
if you've liked the Godzilla movies in the past, because we're a little bit harsh on them.
Because people do like them. It's like, okay, this is not a fair comparison. You just made me think of it. Godzilla movies are like the Fast and the Furious franchise.
Okay.
Where the people that love
They
it
know what they are.
love it, and
Yeah.
they
Right.
love it for what it is.
Yeah.
But
Which
other
is
people
totally
are
okay.
never going to be able to get into it.
If people have followed a giant moth in movies and really liked it, I mean, good on you.
If you like
Mothman?
a bunch of giant lizards and moths biting each other, you're
Actually,
gonna love this.
I thought Mothra was pretty awesome in this movie.
If you like
the visuals are cool.
Yeah.
Like
if you like
her,
Pacific Rim, will you
wingspan.
like this movie?
Yeah.
See, I love Pacific Rim, and I only like
You
Dish.
love
this movie.
Pacific
Yep,
Rim?
I totally do.
Give me your film card.
No
This is
way.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I think Pacific Rim is an awesome guilty pleasure. All right, thanks for listening.